Hello everyone, hope you all are well and good. So, the next chapter of political science of class 11th, the name of the NCRT is Constitution Why and How. Sorry, the name of the book is Constitution at Work. The next and the second chapter is rights in the Indian Constitution. So, if you want a base to be made for the part 3 of the Constitution, means the rights, the fundamental rights which are mentioned in the part 3 of the Constitution, if you want it to be your base to be cleared, I will suggest you to listen to the lecture. The first part in this chapter which mentions the NCRT mentions is that the importance of rights. Importance of rights. To explain the importance of rights, NCRT starts with two examples. I will not dictate the examples, I will not narrate them. I can expect and I hope that you can read those examples from the book itself. The first example is about the wage laborers who were in the very petty condition, who were not even getting their a reasonable amount of salary which should be get. So Supreme Court said that they should get the minimum salary, minimum wage. So this is the importance of right, that those wage laborers, because of these presence of rights in the Indian Constitution, were able to actually get what they means जो उनका लेना बनता था, what they deserved, they get what they deserved. The next example is of a person who is a 23-year-old and has made several injuries, some serious injuries to person, but in court it was declared that he was mentally unstable. So he was kept into a custody for a long time. Now after the doctor who was made to be taken care of him, he sent some reports also ki sir, this person is okay now you can continue the trial, but none of the authorities listen to that report, and for around 50-60 years that person remained in custody only. So this examples gives us a message that not only presence of right, not only writing of rights is important, but also their implementation is important. Means NCRT mentions that if there is a right of life and liberty, the right of life and liberty also means that you have right to a fair and speedy trial. ट्रायल मीन्स ये जो कोर्ट में हम बातचीत करते हैं, जो ट्रायल होता है, केस चलता होता है जिसको बोलते हैं. सो राइट ऑफ लाइफ एंड लिबर्टी, अल्टीमेटली द पर्सन, उस इंसान की लिबर्टी ही तो हैम्पर हुई है ना. हो सकता था कि वो गिल्टी ना होता, बट उसकी 50-60 इयर्स के लिए आपने लिबर्टी को हैम्पर किया है. सो राइट ऑफ लाइफ एंड लिबर्टी ऑल्सो इंक्लूड्स the right to fair and speedy trial. This is what mentioned in importance of rights. The other point mentioned in importance of rights is Bill of Rights. This Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights means it is a list of rights. A bill or a list of rights. A list in which the rights are mentioned. A bill in which rights are mentioned. That is what we call Bill of Rights. Mentioned in the Indian Constitution, which are written by the Constituent Assembly of India. So that list of rights is what we call the Bill of Rights. And the other thing which NCRT mentions is that the government is bound to protect these rights. कोई और आपके राइट्स को प्रोटेक्ट करने आगे नहीं आएगा, कोई और नहीं आएगा. कोई प्राइवेट इंस्टीट्यूशन नहीं, कोई पर्सन नहीं. If you are being exploited by a person or a private institution, the only authority is government which will come forward to protect these rights. This is what NCERT mentions. The next heading in NCERT is the fundamental right in Indian Constitution. Fundamental right in Indian Constitution. NCERT says that inclusion of rights was not planned after the independence. Means at the time of freedom struggle only. We were totally clear, totally definite. We were definite that rights have to be mentioned in the Constitution. The evidence given by NCERT is the Nehru Report of 1928, or you can say Motilal Nehru Committee of 1928, which had actually in 1928 only, which had actually mentioned the rights. They wanted these rights to be given by the British government at that time, but those rights which are written in this Nehru Report, maximum of these rights mentioned in the Nehru Report are today's rights in our Indian Constitution. So, from the time of freedom struggle, we were totally clear कि rights mentioned होंगे. So, this is the reason that there were no two opinions regarding the mentioning of rights in the Indian Constitution. We were totally clear. हम totally clear. The next point is that why do we call them fundamental? They are called as fundamental because of their importance. Because of the importance of the rights. These rights holds a lot of importance in the Indian Constitution. Importance to an extent that there is a separate part. There is a separate part in the Constitution for them. This is the importance of fundamental rights. Means even the government cannot exploit your rights. The government cannot exploit your rights. In fact, the government is bound to follow it. Next, it mentions the difference between fundamental rights and the ordinary rights. Fundamental rights and the ordinary rights. NCERT says that fundamental rights, how fundamental rights are different from ordinary rights? Fundamental rights are written in the Constitution, which is the fundamental law of land. मतलब Constitution से ऊपर कोई law नहीं है. It is mentioned in the Constitution. However, the ordinary rights are given in the ordinary laws. They are mentioned in the ordinary laws और statutory laws जो हमारे दूसरे mention होते हैं. Fundamental rights में दूसरा point है कि if you want to make a change in fundamental right, then you will have to go through the amendment of Constitution. पूरा प्रोसेस कराना पड़ेगा सर आपको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंड करना, एंड इट इज नॉट दैट इजी टू अमेंड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. In further lectures we will study that there is a difference between amendment of constitution and making changes in an ordinary law or passing in an ordinary law. This ordinary process of passing a law, a simple law, or changing a law is not that difficult in comparison to amendment in constitution. So this is what fundamental rights in Indian Constitution 6. The next point it says is, the first is Motilal Nehru wala point, the second point is fundamental, then their importance, the third point is comparison between fundamentals versus ordinary. If you are making notes, listen to the lecture carefully और सिर्फ ये points लिखते जाओ बस. That's all are the notes for NCERT. Anyways, the third point it mentioned is that judiciary has the power and responsibility of the protection of these fundamental rights. Judiciary has the power and responsibility for the protection of fundamental rights. Means even if there are three organs, legislative, executive and judiciary, even if the executive and legislatives are making some actions, even the actions of executive and legislatives are such that they are violating, that they are illegal, or they are violating their rights, violating your rights, then just judiciary can term those actions as illegal. I am repeating it. Important point. Even if actions of executive and legislatives are violating your rights, judiciary can declare those actions as illegal. This is the power and responsibility of judiciary. Fundamental rights are the power and responsibility of judiciary. Next, so the first type, for the first right that we have is right to equality. Right to equality. Now, if you have read in history, then you might be knowing very well that there was a problem regarding equality. A great example is B.R. Ambedkar Sahab. So he was also the victim of this inequality. So right to equality. Let's see what NCERT says regarding right to equality. Let me clear it out that I am discussing these rights. I will be discussing these rights from the perspective of NCERT only. If you want these rights to be declared in a very detailed manner, I will be coming up with the video, new video which will be from the perspectives of UPSC. So in that lecture I will be discussing these rights in detail. As of now, I will be discussing them as per NCERT only. So the right of equality, the first right of equality says, that no discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex and place of birth. There will be no discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex and place of birth. No discrimination in what sense? For the access of public places. Means if you want to access a public place like shops, public place like hotels, public place like say restaurants and wells, okay, public place like wells. So if you want to access these public places, there shall be no discrimination on basis of these: religion, race, caste, sex and place of birth. Okay? And now who will protect these rights? Government. I have already told you. Next, there shall be no discrimination in public employment. If you are employing people for the government jobs, specifically for government jobs, there will be no discrimination. अब आपके सब दिमाग में सबसे पहला सवाल आएगा, सर फिर ये रिजर्वेशन क्या है? What is reservation? Wait for maximum 1 or 2 minutes. I will be discussing it. Okay, reservation, sir, isn't it violating this right? It is not actually. How? After 1 or 2 minutes. The next is abolition of untouchability. Abolition of untouchability. You might be knowing that there was a class which was termed as untouchable in the past. So to stop that untouchability in any way, by action, by speaking, by writing, any way, by any untouchability, any type of untouchability would be abolished. Who ensures this right of equality? Who will protect the government of India will protect it. The next is abolition of titles. Abolition of titles. I cannot say that I should be treated as I should be given privileges because I am Maharaja Nishant. I am Rajput Nishant. और कोई टाइटल ले लो, आई एम राजपूत निशांत, आई एम यू कैन से मुगलों का राजा हूं, है ना, मुगलों का राजा हूं मैं. तो इस तरह का कोई भी टाइटल यू कैन नॉट यूज दिस टाइटल. यू कैन नॉट यूज दिस टाइटल. आप इस तरह का कोई भी टाइटल नहीं यूज कर सकते हो until and unless that title has been achieved by you through military और थ्रू एजुकेशन. अगर आपने एजुकेशन के बेसिस पर डॉक्टरेट की है, यू हैव डन MBBS, आपके आगे डॉक्टर लगेगा. आपने आर्मी ज्वाइन की है, एयरफोर्स ज्वाइन की है, नेवी ज्वाइन की है, यू आर अ मेजर, यू कैन राइट मेजर इन फ्रंट ऑफ योर नेम. आपने यू कैन राइट कैप्टन इन फ्रंट ऑफ इट, यू कैन राइट लेफ्टिनेंट इन फ्रंट ऑफ, यू कैन राइट कर्नल, ये लिख सकते हो. मिलिट्री वाले टाइटल्स यूज कर सकते हो. ये नहीं यूज कर सकते. राजपूत यूज कर लिया, है ना, ये यूज नहीं कर सकते आप. यू कैन नॉट यूज. दूसरा, डॉक्टर लगा सकते हो. आपने एकेडमिक्स की फील्ड में, एजुकेशन की फील्ड में आपने अपने बेसिस पर टाइटल अचीव किया. कोई इंसेस्टर्स का टाइटल अगर आप यूज कर रहे हो, दैट इज नॉट वैलिड एट ऑल. सो एबोलिशन ऑफ टाइटल्स लिखा हुआ है. ये वाली जो बात मिलिट्री वाली और एकेडमिक वाली बात इज एक्सप्लिसिटली रिटन इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. नाउ, what is the importance of right of equality? The importance is that equality ensures dignity. Equality ensures dignity and it also ensures equal status. Sir, dignity means respect for each other. If you read these points carefully, and through these points we are actually trying to show respect, dignity to the specific class. Now, we read in preamble. If you have seen my preamble video, there was in preamble it is written that there is equality of status and opportunity. In preamble it is written equality of status and opportunity. Sir, in history, the one is the women, the one class is women, the other class is the some backward classes, socially and educationally backward. They have been exploited to an extent, to a great level, to a great extent. Means they were exploited to such a level. If we are here, if our social and educational condition is here, their social and educational condition is here. So do you think if the resources they have, if the exploitation they have faced and which are being faced even today, do you think they will be able to see their aspirations as we are seeing them today? Are they able to, women and socially backward class and children के लिए भी थोड़ा बहुत है. Do you think if अगर हम if today we can pay a fees of say 2 and 3 lakhs for the preparation of Indian and for civil services, do you think these socially and educationally backward classes able to? Do you think that they can buy these expensive books which we can buy? So equality of opportunity. Do you think this is the equality of opportunity? अगर हम इनके लिए सेम ही एग्जाम रख दें, हमने वो बुक पढ़ी है which cost 500, 700, 1000, 3000 rupees. They cannot afford it. Their education is backward. So to ensure this equality of opportunity, इनके लिए रिजर्वेशन रखा गया है. रिजर्वेशन सरकार ने नहीं लेके आया. It is written in the constitution. It is written in the article 16 clause 4. It is written that no provision in this article shall be termed as violation of any of the rights. Regarding किसके regarding कि अगर हम किसी को रिजर्वेशन देते हैं तो रिजर्वेशन should not be termed as violation of right to equality. It is written in it. I hope you might have got this. No discrimination in public employment. So to ensure the equality of opportunity, हमने ये रिजर्वेशन लेकर आए. ठीक है. So the next is right to freedom. The next we have is right to freedom. Equality and freedom, these two things, these two concepts are somewhere interdependent and are somewhere important, and their survival, their existence of both equality and freedom is important in democracy. It is important in democracy. If you want to ensure democracy, the existence of equality and freedom is necessary. They are dependent, they are interdependent. Also, they both are important. Their existence of both of them is important. So the first freedom which we have given is that is freedom of thought and expression. सोचने का और एक्सप्रेस करने का हमारे पास फ्रीडम है. वी हैव फ्रीडम ऑफ थॉट एंड एक्सप्रेशन. हम अपने थॉट्स और अपने एक्सप्रेशन को बड़े ही फ्रीडम के साथ हम उनको एक्सप्रेस कर सकते हैं. बट द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट इट शुड नॉट हार्म द पब्लिक ऑर्डर. It should not harm the morality. It should not harm the unity. It should not harm the integrity of India. Means they are not absolute. They are not absolute. अगर आपको फ्रीडम दिया है तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप किसी को भी कुछ भी कह दोगे. It should not harm the public order, morality, unity, integrity of India. Means these freedom, whatever you are expressing or you are sharing your thoughts, that should not be threatening to that should not harm, that should not be threatening to the other person's freedom. That should not be threatening to the law. वो उसको थ्रेटिंग नहीं होना चाहिए. मींस इट इज नॉट एब्सोल्यूट. देयर आर सम रीजनेबल ग्राउंड्स ऑफ रिस्ट्रिक्शन रिगार्डिंग इट एंड दे आर नेसेसरी आल्सो. ये तो मैं किसी को भी चलता कुछ भी बोल दूंगा यार, नॉट पॉसिबल. फिर यूनिटी इंटीग्रिटी विल नॉट बी मेंटेन्ड. इक्वालिटी भी नहीं मेंटेन हो पाएगी क्योंकि मैं किसी को मैं कुछ भी बोल रहा हूं. हाउएवर आई एम एक्सप्रेसिंग माय थॉट्स, बट दे आर हर्टिंग समबडी. So, freedom of thought and expression, the first freedom. The next is the freedom of life. That is right to life and personal liberty. Right to life and personal liberty. The right to life is that you can't be killed by anyone. You can't be killed by anyone. I have not completed the sentence yet. The personal liberty is you can't be arrested except the procedure established by law. You can't be killed, you can't be arrested or confined except the procedure established by law. अगर लॉ ने कोई प्रोसीजर बनाया हुआ है, किसी लॉ में ये लिखा हुआ है कि ये गलती करने पे इसको he should be hanged by neck till death, तो आपका राइट टू लाइफ ले लिया गया सर. मेंशन है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अंदर. आई एम नॉट राइटिंग द होल सेंटेंस ओवर हियर, बट इट इज रिटन इन द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. Your personal liberty can be harmed, cannot be harmed except the procedure or through the procedure established by law. Personal liberty means you cannot be arrested. Even if case you are arrested, you have right to call your lawyer. आपके पास पूरा राइट है कि आप अपने लॉयर को बुला सको. आपके पास पूरा राइट है. इट इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द पुलिस to present you in front of the nearest magistrate within 24 hours. अगर आपकी पर्सनल लिबर्टी हार्म की भी जाती है, पहली बात तो आपको अरेस्ट करते हुए इट इज योर राइट टू नो दैट ऑन व्हाट ग्राउंड्स यू आर अरेस्टिंग मी. यू कैन नॉट हार्म माई पर्सनल लिबर्टी. You will have to tell, even police will have to tell that why they are arresting me. It is your right to know why you are arresting me, on what ground you are arresting me. Even if you are arrested, you have right, after being arrested, you have right to call your lawyer, and within 24 hours, it's your right to be presented in front of a magistrate, and that magistrate will ultimately decide that whether this arrest is wrong or right, whether the arrest is legal or illegal. So the right to life and personal liberty. Plus, there is a wider application of this life and personal liberty. There is a wider application. Wider application. There have been a lot of cases in Supreme Court which has widened the application of this right to life and personal liberties. The court says that living with human dignity comes under right to life and personal liberty. अगर मैं इज्जत के साथ नहीं जी पा रहा हूं तो मेरे का राइट ऑफ लाइफ नहीं है. दिस इज नॉट कॉल. मैं अगर एक्सप्लॉइट हो रहा हूं किसी से, आई एम बीइंग एक्सप्लॉइटेड बाय समवन, आई एम नॉट एंजॉयिंग माय राइट टू लाइफ. आई एम नॉट एंजॉयिंग. कोर्ट ऑल्सो सेज, जो कहते ना प्यार के बिना भी क्या जीना, है ना, उस तरह से कोर्ट सेज देयर, मतलब बिना ह्यूमन डिग्निटी के क्या जीना, बिना शेल्टर के क्या जीना, बिना अच्छे लाइवलीहुड के क्या जीना. सिमिलर, सो दिस मेंशंस राइट टू लाइफ एंड पर्सनल लिबर्टी includes your right to human dignity, means you have a human dignity. It includes right to shelter. It includes right to livelihood. So this is the wider application of right to life and you can say personal liberty. इसी point में, and in this point only, there is a point of I'm writing it over here, preventive detention. ये क्या है सर? सिंपल से 2 वर्ड. प्रिवेंटिव. प्रिवेंशन इज बेटर देन क्योर. प्रिवेंट करना, प्रिकॉशन लेना. डिटेंशन इज कन्फाइनमेंट, किसी को बंद करना. अब ये है क्या सर? लिसन टू मी केयरफुली. Preventive detention is that if in case government feels that you are trying or you are planning in the coming future to harm the unity and integrity of the India, to harm the health of the people, to harm the public order, to threaten the law, then as a precaution, as a preventive measure, the government can detain you, can confine you. मतलब अगर सरकार को लगता है कि आने वाले टाइम के अंदर आप कोई ऐसी नॉन सिविल एक्टिविटी कर सकते हो, कोई नॉन सोशल एक्टिविटी कर सकते हो, तो उस एक्टिविटी को बचाने के लिए सरकार आपको बंद कर सकती है. यू कैन बी कन्फाइंड if the government has an apprehension that you can create some nuisance. So that is preventive detention. Now government can do this only, the person can be detained, the person can be confined for only 3 months. For only 3 months. After 3 months there should be an advisory body. Advisory body will decide whether this detention should be extended or should the person be released. So there is a preventive detention, which will somewhere some people say that it is the violation of right to life and personal liberty. But sir, for unity and integrity, there is rationalism going on. So for unity to actually conserve the unity and integrity, this preventive detention is somewhere useful. Anyways, coming on to the next part, that is some other freedoms. Some other freedoms are, I'm erasing, I should erase this part. Some other freedoms are that you have right to assemble. Other freedoms are you have right to assemble. However, there are also, this is the last freedom I am discussing in it, there are other freedoms also which NCERT has not discussed, which NCERT has not written, so I will not be discussing them over here. Right to assemble, but you have right to assemble. आप 15 जने, 20 जने, 2500, जितने भी, you can assemble together. आप सारे इकट्ठे हो सकते हो. The condition is that assembly, आप सबका मिलना should be peaceful assembly, and the assembly should be without arms. Arms मतलब ये आम नहीं, इस आम की बात नहीं कर रहा हूं. Arms that should be peaceful and without arms. Also, the government can impose, assessing the situation, the government can impose a law. इसको हम IPC 144 धारा 144 बोलते हैं, जिसको हम कि आप 5 या 5 से ज्यादा लोग इकट्ठे नहीं हो सकते, 4 या 4 से ज्यादा लोग आप इकट्ठे नहीं हो सकते हो. That is to save the unity and integrity of the nation. Government can do it. Government can violate the right to assembly. Normally, अगर आप assemble हो सकते हो, but that should be peaceful and without arms. Next, the next is somewhere it is mentioned in it that right to accuse. There are some rights which have been issued to accused also. Sir, ये क्या होता है? See, to explain accused, I am differentiating two words. There is a word which is, one is accused and the other word is guilty. Accused is a person who is charged with offences. But these offences have not been proven yet. आपके ऊपर जो ऑफेंसेस लगाए गए हैं, आपके ऊपर जो इल्जाम लगाए गए हैं, दे आर नॉट प्रूवन येट। हमें सस्पिशन है, हमें शक है, एज पर जो छोटा मोटा इन्वेस्टिगेशन की है पुलिस ने, उसके हिसाब से हमें शक है, किसी ने आपका नाम लिया है, उसके बेसिस पर यू आर इन कस्टडी येट, यू आर एक्यूज्ड। You might have also heard in some of the films, there's a dialogue, dialogue नहीं कह सकते, there's a statement that a person is not guilty until proven. Accused is not guilty until proven. So there's a difference between accused and guilty. Guilty is a person whose these offences, once these offences will be proven in the court, then this accused will become guilty. So person is guilty until proven. ठीक है? Until proven by court only. So there are rights to accused also. There are 3 rights issued to accused, including the right to trial. Trial के अलावा we have 3 more rights. The first is that you cannot be punished twice for the same law. You cannot be punished twice for the same law. I said the word same, not the similar. Same law. However, I will be discussing that in the UPSC wala part. Let me tell you the difference between the same and similar. मैंने चोरी की, एक बार चोरी की, मैंने आपके घर पे चोरी की फॉर इन केस, मेरे को एक बार पनिशमेंट दे दी, ठीक है? अब मेरे को उसी चोरी के लिए, सेम चोरी के लिए दोबारा पनिशमेंट नहीं दे सकते हैं, सेम चीज। बट अगर मैंने चोरी दोबारा किसी और घर में की, तो फिर मेरे को पनिशमेंट मिल सकती है। मतलब मैंने सिमिलर ऑफेंस किया है, सिमिलर चोरी किया, दोनों में चोरी किया बट दोबारा किया, सेम ऑफेंस नहीं किया मैंने। सेम मतलब मैंने उसी घर में चोरी करने के कारण मेरे को दोबारा पनिशमेंट दी सकती है, बट सिमिलर ऑफेंस के लिए दोबारा अगर मैंने वही ऑफेंस दोबारा किया है तो फिर मेरे को पनिशमेंट मिल सकती है। सो द फर्स्ट इज दैट यू कैन नॉट बी पनिश्ड ट्वाइस फॉर द सेम ऑफेंस। द नेक्स्ट इज दैट no criminal law, specifically no criminal law should be applied from backdrop मतलब रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट से नहीं आप किसी क्रिमिनल लॉ को आप इशू कर सकते कि मतलब आज मैंने एक लॉ लेकर आया और इन केस की आज लॉ आता है, फॉर केस मान लो कल लॉ आता है, इंडिया में कल लॉ इशू जाता है कि आज से आप YouTube पे वीडियो अपलोड नहीं कर सकते। Nobody can freely upload video on YouTube। अगर किसी ने YouTube पर वीडियो अपलोड की तो उस पर्सन को अरेस्ट कर लिया जाएगा। कल होगा ये इशू, कल मान लो कल हो जाता है। सो इट डजंट मीन कि जो मैंने पुरानी वीडियोस रिकॉर्ड की है तो उसके बेसिस पे मेरे को अरेस्ट कर लिया जाएगा। अगर कल के बाद मैं करूंगा फिर मेरे को अरेस्ट कर सकते हैं। सो इट कैन नॉट बी अप्लाइड फ्रॉम द बैकड्रॉप। कोई भी लॉ बैकड्रॉप से अप्लाई नहीं होगा कि कोई ऐसा ऑफेंस, कोई ऐसा एक्शन जो आज ऑफेंस डिक्लेयर कर दिया जाए, क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस डिक्लेयर कर दिया जाए और किसी ने वही सेम एक्शन पहले किया था तो उस पहले वाले एक्शन के हिसाब से उसको अरेस्ट नहीं किया जा सकता। ठीक है। द थर्ड राइट इज दैट इज नो पर्सन और नो एक्यूज्ड कैन बी फोर्स्ड टू शो एविडेंस अगेंस्ट हिमसेल्फ और हरसेल्फ। किसी भी इंसान, आपको अगर अरेस्ट कर लिया गया है, आपने क्राइम भी किया है, स्टिल यू कैन नॉट बी फोर्स्ड टू एक्नॉलेज, टू कन्फेस इट इन द कोर्ट। आपके ऊपर कोई भी आपको फोर्सफुली नहीं कह सकता कि आप अपना जुर्म मानो, आप एविडेंसेस शो करो, आपको कोई नहीं बोलेगा बिकॉज यू आर एक्यूज्ड। यू हैव द राइट टू डिफेंड योरसेल्फ। You have the right to say कि sir I plead not guilty, I am not guilty। इसीलिए कभी कोई मूवीज में देखा होगा कि लॉयर ऑलवेज सेज कि मैम और सर आपने जाकर अगर कोर्ट आपसे पूछता है यू विल हैव टू से नॉट आई प्लीड नॉट गिल्टी। इफ यू से आई yes my lord I plead myself guilty, so then it will be a open and shut case. That is what we call open and shut case. So you have the right to defend. Accused have the right to defend himself or herself. You cannot be forced to show evidences. You cannot be forced to become a witness against yourself. That is right to accused. Next is right against exploitation. Next is right against exploitation. Right against exploitation we have already seen कि हम मतलब हिस्ट्री में हमने काफी पढ़ा है इस चीज को, अगर पढ़ा हो तो, कि एक्सप्लॉयटेशन बहुत हुई है कुछ लोअर क्लासेस की, कुछ वुमेन की स्पेसिफिकली एक्सप्लॉयटेशन बहुत हुई है. द वन ऑफ द फेमस एक्सप्लॉयटेशन इज द बेगार और फोर्स्ड लेबर. आपको पैसे नहीं दिए जा रहे हैं सर, पर आपसे काम लिया जा रहा है. बेगार और फोर्स्ड लेबर, आपको पैसे नहीं दिए जा रहे, आपसे काम लिया जा रहा है. एंड द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फेमस exploitation is human trafficking or human trading. Human trafficking and human trading. So now rights have been mentioned in the constitution to abolish these both of them. इन दोनों को abolish करने के लिए राइट्स इशू कर देंगे. जैसे एक एग्जांपल लेट मी गिव वन एग्जांपल कि चाइल्ड लेबर को हमने abolish कर दिया है. We have totally abolish the child labor फैक्ट्रीज वगैरह में, हार्मफुल फैक्ट्रीज वगैरह में काम करने के लिए. और इसके रिस्पेक्ट में, इसके अगेंस्ट में हमने वी हैव मेड राइट टू एजुकेशन. हम राइट टू एजुकेशन लिया है फ्रॉम 16 to 14 years ऑफ एज के लिए. ठीक है, फॉर द चिल्ड्रन एजुकेशन चिल्ड्रंस के लिए. सो दिस इज व्हाट एनसीईआरटी सेज अबाउट राइट अगेंस्ट एक्सप्लॉयटेशन. Next, NCERT says freedom, right to freedom and right to freedom of religion. Right to freedom of religion. Right to freedom of religions has been termed as hallmark. It is a hallmark of democracy because democracy also ensures the secularism. Democracy ensures secularism. hallmark होता है ना, hallmark इसकी तो स्पेसिफाई कि हाँ भाई साहब सोना असली है, ये सोना असली है. वैसे ये राइट क्या बताता है कि हाँ सर डेमोक्रेसी असली है, यहाँ पर सेक्युलरिज्म है सर, ये असली है सर. हॉलमार्क छापा लगा दी, ISI मार्क है, हॉलमार्क है. सो इट इज सेड दैट हॉलमार्क ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी. जहां पर राइट टू फ्रीडम ऑफ रिलीजन है, मतलब दैट डेमोक्रेसी इज ओरिजिनल. तो द फर्स्ट राइट मेंशन्ड इज दैट इज फ्रीडम ऑफ faith and worship. Freedom of faith and worship says that you have a right to profess, you have a right to follow, and you have a right to propagate your religion. But the point is that it should not harm the public order. आप अपने रिलीजन को फॉलो कर रहे हैं, अपने रिलीजन को प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, इट शुड नॉट हार्म द पब्लिक ऑर्डर. However, there are, I won't mention them, almost all of the religions are actually harming this public order, but the sensitivity of this issue is too much that the government is not able to say anything, because फिर हो जाएगा ना, समझ रहे हो ना, इसलिए. So government is not. इलिटरेसी कम हो गई है, बट नॉलेज एजुकेशन अभी उतने की उतनी ही है. लिटरेसी बढ़ गई होगी, बट एजुकेशन अभी चाहिए. वी स्टिल नीड सम एजुकेशन. इंडिया को एजुकेशन की जरूरत है. लिटरेसी रेट काफी अच्छा है, आई एम हैप्पी फॉर इट, बट लिटरेसी विल नॉट ओनली हेल्प अस, विल नॉट ओनली लीड टू द ग्रोथ ऑफ कंट्री. एजुकेशन की जरूरत पड़ेगी. Anyways, you have the right to profess, follow and propagate, but it should not harm the public order, it should not harm the morality, it should not harm the sentiments of other religion, it should not harm the health of anybody, because पुराने टाइम में सेक्रीफाइस देने का एक होता था. People used to give sacrifice. आपने अपनी बलि दे दी या किसी की भी बलि दे दी, so it should not harm the health of anybody. You have freedom of faith and worship. You have the right to profess, follow and propagate. Propagate means आप अपने religion को इस हिसाब से propagate कर सकते हो, conversion भी कर सकते हो. You cannot, but conversion should not be forceful. आज मैं सोचता हूँ कि I want to change my religion by myself. ठीक है, मेरे को वो religion अच्छा लगता है. वैसे no religion, कोई religion बुरा नहीं है, कोई religion अच्छा नहीं है. Sorry, कोई religion बुरा नहीं है, कोई रिलीजन बुरा नहीं है. सभी रिलीजन्स का एक ही मैसेज है. द डेस्टिनेशन इज सेम, दीज रिलीजन्स आर पाथ्स टू द डेस्टिनेशन. द एसेंस ऑफ एवरी रिलीजन इज सेम ओनली. वी इडियट्स, एक्चुअली वी इडियट्स जो who are actually working on our senses, है ना, इस सेंसेस पे काम करते हैं, अपने पर्सनल गुड के लिए हर रिलीजन को बदनाम कर रखा. But the actual message of religion is something else. Anyways, propagate, you can convert, you can make people, you can convert the people, but that conversion should not be forceful. Next is the equality of all religions. Yes, equality of all religions. मतलब in India, though there are different religions, but the treatment of government for these different religions will be same. Government cannot treat a specific religion specially. Government cannot make special treatment to a specific religion. So, equal treatment to different religions. Equal treatment to different religions. There is no specific religion of our country, of the government. There is no official religion of the government of the country. Means you don't need to belong to a specific religion to become the president, to become the prime minister, to become the chief justice of the country. You don't need to belong. आपका कोई भी रिलीजन है, आप प्रेसिडेंट भी बन सकते हो, आप प्राइम मिनिस्टर भी बन सकते हो, आप चीफ जस्टिस बन सकते हो, कुछ भी बन सकते हो. ठीक है. सो इक्वालिटी ऑफ ऑल दैट. एंड द लास्ट पॉइंट इज दैट इवन द स्टेट institution means institutions, says colleges, says schools. The state institutions cannot preach a specific religion. अगर कोई ऐसा कॉलेज, यूनिवर्सिटी और स्कूल है which is being financed by, which is being sponsored by the state, उसमें सिर्फ टेम्पल नहीं बन सकता, उसमें कोई टेम्पल नहीं बन सकता, उसमें कोई मॉस्क नहीं बन सकती, उसमें कोई गुरुद्वारा नहीं बन सकता, उसमें कोई चर्च नहीं बन सकती, और वहां पर प्रीचिंग भी नहीं हो सकती है सच. ठीक है. नो प्रीचिंग, नो काइंड ऑफ प्रीचिंग इज अलाउड इन द स्टेट इंस्टीट्यूशन, बिकॉज दैट विल रिप्रेजेंट अ स्पेसिफिक रिलीजन. प्रीचिंग ऑफ एनी रिलीजन विल शो द सपोर्ट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट टू दैट स्पेसिफिक रिलीजन. हाँ, होता होगा, बट वी आर डिस्कसिंग पॉलिटी, वी आर नॉट डिस्कसिंग पॉलिटिक्स. Anyways, the next is cultural and educational rights. Cultural and educational rights. see, the India is a diverse country, means यहाँ पर diversity ज़्यादा है, बहुत diversity है. So this diversity means that there is some majority and there is some minority. Minority is actually, you can say, a group of people who are listen to me carefully. Minority is a group of people who is following or who has a similar culture, who has the same culture or the same language, but that group of people is actually outnumbered by other group of people. मतलब कि if my culture is, I have a specific culture and I have a language, से हिंदी लैंग्वेज है मेरे पास हिंदी लैंग्वेज है, और मैं एक ऐसी स्टेट में हूँ, से चंडीगढ़ में हूँ, तो यहाँ पर हिंदी बोलने वाले कम है पंजाबी बोलने वालों से, तो पंजाबीज आर मेजॉरिटी ओवर हियर, हिंदीज आर माइनॉरिटी ओवर हियर, इस तरह से. तो ये जो मेजॉरिटी और माइनॉरिटी है, दिस इज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ लैंग्वेज, मींस लिंग्विस्टिक बेसिस एंड कल्चरल बेसिस. ठीक है. अब ये माइनॉरिटी कैन बी इन अ स्पेसिफिक पार्ट ऑफ द कंट्री एंड इट कैन बी इवन इन द होल कंट्री. तो अगर मैं पूरी कंट्री में देखूं तो भी माइनॉरिटी होगी, एक स्पेसिफिक पार्ट में देखूं, चंडीगढ़ से रीजन में देखूं तो भी माइनॉरिटी होगी. ठीक है. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल. अब देखो मेजॉरिटी और माइनॉरिटी, इक्वालिटी है हमारे पास, है ना, टू इंश्योर दैट इक्वालिटी इन माइनॉरिटीज को, लिंग्विस्टिक एंड कल्चरल बेसिस पे माइनॉरिटीज को राइट्स देना जरूरी है. एवरीवन शुड बी ह्यूमन डिग्निटी, एवरीवन शुड बी रिस्पेक्टेड. So इसीलिए there is a right of minority to conserve its culture, right to conserve. They have right to conserve. Means they can practice their language, they can speak their language, they can practice their culture without fearing of majority of that region. They have right to conserve. Also, they have a right to educational institutions, means a specific minority or a specific community which is following a specific language or culture can open its educational institution. उसको अलाउ है. अगर मैं चंडीगढ़ में रह रहा हूं तो मैं एक ऐसा स्कूल खोल सकता हूं जिसमें सिर्फ हिंदी बोली जाए. टू प्रोटेक्ट माई राइट, आई हैव राइट टू कंजर्व इट. ठीक है. दिस इज व्हाट कल्चरल एंड एजुकेशनल राइट से. नेक्स्ट इज द राइट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडीज. राइट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडीज. सर हमें राइट्स हैव बीन गिवन, लिस्ट बना दी सर राइट्स, आपने समझा दिया, समझ आ गया सर राइट्स, बट व्हाट इफ दे आर वायलेटेड. राइट्स बना दिए सर, आपने बता दिया गवर्नमेंट विल प्रोटेक्ट, जुडिशरी हैज द पावर एंड रिस्पांसिबिलिटी टू प्रोटेक्ट, गवर्नमेंट आर बाउंड टू प्रोटेक्ट. Judiciary will actually ensure its responsibility will able to protect through these legislature and executive only. ठीक है. जो जुडिशरी खुद तो आके नहीं करेगी ना, ऑब्वियसली इट विल गिव ऑर्डर्स टू द एग्जीक्यूटिव कि ये नहीं ऐसे ऐसे करो. तो वो प्रोटेक्शन कैसे इंश्योर करेगी? बाय ऑर्डरिंग, बाय गिविंग द कमांड और बाय गिविंग द ऑर्डर्स टू द एग्जीक्यूटिव. तो सर ये कैसे हम, हाउ कैन वी से दैट दीज राइट्स विल बी प्रोटेक्टेड? क्या तरीका क्या है राइट्स को प्रोटेक्ट करने का? merely writing them is not means protection, na? Doesn't mean protection. Merely writing the rights doesn't mean protection. There should be some way, there should be some action taken to protect them. Okay? So for this there are some constitutional remedies. In this right to constitutional remedies, we have the right to approach directly, listen to me carefully, I have the right to approach directly to the high court and to the lower court छोड़ दो. If your fundamental rights are violated, you can directly approach to high court or the supreme court, anyone, to ensure your protection of right. Lower court में मत जाओ सर, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, मत जाओ, no worries. You can directly approach to high court and supreme court for the protection. Yes sir, ये आप अपने आप कह रहे हो, नहीं sir, that is written in the constitution, written in right to constitutional remedies. Remedies मतलब solution. Now this remedies, this right to constitutional remedies has written 5 writs. 5 writs. The first writ is habeas corpus. I will discuss them in detail in the other lecture from the perspective of IAS, but over here I am just giving the gist. Habeas corpus means to present the body in front of the court. To present the body means if any person have been arrested illegally, so the court can issue the habeas corpus protecting his right to life and liberty. Habeas corpus. The next is mandamus. Mandamus says that mandamus ensures these rights are issued by High Court to Supreme Court. Mandamus, if a court issues mandamus, it means the court is saying to a specific office or a specific office holder to conduct its legal duty. मतलब अगर जल बोर्ड का काम पानी पहुंचाना है तो वो पानी क्यों नहीं पहुंचा रहा? Why is the Jal Board not practicing its legal duty? जल बोर्ड का काम ये तो नहीं है चोर को जाके पकड़ दो, ये तो नहीं है. If you are not getting water at home, और अगर आपने बहुत सारे एप्लीकेशंस लिख लिए, आपने सब कुछ फॉलो कर लिए, सारे प्रोसीजर, सारी फॉर्मेलिटीज फॉलो कर ली, even at the last you are not getting water at home, so you can go to High Court or Supreme Court. You will say, sir ये देखो मेरे एप्लीकेशंस है, मेरे को पानी नहीं मिल रहा सर, मैंने सारा प्रोसेस फॉलो कर लिया सर, मैंने बात कर ली, जल बोर्ड वाला से बात कर ली, स्टिल दे आर नॉट गिविंग मी द कनेक्शन, पानी नहीं आ रहा सर मेरे घर पे. They will issue mandamus. They will issue mandamus to Jal Board. Will say पानी आना चाहिए to conduct the legal duty. Next, the third writ is that is prohibition. Prohibition says say lower court का then there is a jurisdiction. एक jurisdiction, हर कोर्ट का अपने jurisdiction होता है कि वो इस लेवल का केस संभाल सकते हैं. इतने सिविल केस हो तो इतने पैसों तक संभाल सकते हैं, कोई क्रिमिनल केस है तो इस लेवल तक का इतने पैसों का क्रिमिनल केस या मर्डर का केस संभाल सकते हैं, नहीं संभाल सकते. तो देयर इज अ जुरिस्डिक्शन ऑल्सो. एक और सेंस में जुरिस्डिक्शन में ये कह सकता हूं कि इफ आई एम अ जज ऑफ से चंडीगढ़ का जज हूं और कोई क्राइम हो गया मोहाली में, तो आई कैन नॉट लिसन टू दैट ट्रायल. मैं उस ट्रायल का जज नहीं बन सकता हूं बिकॉज मेरी जुरिस्डिक्शन से बाहर है. वो क्राइम कहां हुआ है? मोहाली में क्राइम, या पंचकुला में क्राइम हुआ है. पंचकुला एंड मोहाली इज नॉट अंडर माई जुरिस्डिक्शन. बीइंग द जज ऑफ द लोअर कोर्ट, दे आर नॉट इन माई जुरिस्डिक्शन. सो द हायर कोर्ट, हायर नॉट हाई कोर्ट, high court also, higher court, it can be high court or it can be supreme court, can actually prohibit the lower court to not conduct that trial, because that trial is actually out of the jurisdiction of that specific court. So I can write a prohibition that to prohibit trial of court. बाकी सारी कहानी I have told you. The next I have is certiorari. The next I have is certiorari. Now what certiorari says? Certiorari is somewhere related to prohibition only. Prohibition से related ही. Prohibition में तो मैं उसको बोल दूंगा कि सर आपकी jurisdiction से बाहर नहीं है, आप केस छोड़ दो, आप केस छोड़ दो. Certiorari में मैं क्या कह सकता हूँ? I can ask that lower court to transfer the case to me. Being a high court, मैं lower court को कह सकता हूँ कि सर आप ये केस मेरे को ट्रांसफर करो. दिस इज ये आपके पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं है. तो अगर कोई भी केस जुरिस्डिक्शन से बाहर जाता है, so the higher court, not high court, the higher court has two options: either to prohibit him, prohibit the court, or either to pass the certiorari कि आप आपके जुरिस्डिक्शन में नहीं है सर, ये आप मेरे को ट्रांसफर करो. ठीक है. So these are the four. The fifth writ is quo warranto. Quo warranto. Quo warranto means that if in case I have joined as I say inshallah I have joined as an IAS, say in case, and so or मेरी age is I am not eligible to join that post, to hold that office, and someone, say my friend or anybody, I may say my enemy, complains about regarding me कि sir निशांत की age और second he is not eligible to join that service because कोई भी एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया सकता है कि एज पूरी नहीं है, या मतलब एज एक्सटेंड हो चुकी है, या ग्रेजुएशन नहीं की हुई है, या मार्क्स इतने नहीं मिले थे, या मेरिट लिस्ट में नाम नहीं था. सो आई कैन मूव टू कोर्ट सेइंग दैट कि सर दैट पर्सन इज नॉट एक्चुअली एलिजिबल टू होल्ड दैट ऑफिस, बट दैट पर्सन इज होल्डिंग इट राइट नाउ. वो पर्सन अभी ऑफिस होल्ड करके बैठा है. सो दैट इज क्यू वारंट. मैं आई कैन आस्क, आई कैन इशू कि आई एम इशूइंग यू अ शो कॉज नोटिस कि आप बताओ आपने सर्विसेज कैसे ज्वाइन की, टू एंश्योर दैट आई हैव नॉट ज्वाइंड सर्विसेज थ्रू इलीगल मेजर्स. दैट इज क्यू वारंट. टू क्यू वारंट तब इशू करते हैं कि हम शो कॉज नोटिस, यू आर गिवन अ नोटिस कि शो द कॉज दैट व्हाई हैव यू, हाउ हैव यू ज्वाइंड द सर्विसेज, बिकॉज somebody has claimed कि आपकी तो एज ही एक्सटेंड हो चुकी है, कि आपकी तो ग्रेजुएशन ही नहीं हुई है, कि आपके तो मार्क्स ही नहीं आए थे. दैट इज व्हाट वी कॉल क्यू वारंट. सो दीज आर द राइट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडीज. Also this right to constitutional remedy is known as the heart and soul of the constitution, because only merely writing the list of constitution is not important, but ensuring their implementation is important. Now which part ensures the implementation? Right to constitutional remedies. Apart from Supreme Court, High Court, there are other you can say commission also, say a National Human Rights Commission which was made in 1993. Means this National Human Rights Commission has power to actually initiate, अगर मतलब if they somewhere they feel that the right of a group or right of some people are being violated, तो ये क्या कर सकते हैं? They can initiate by themselves. कोई भी इनिशिएटिव ले सकते हैं, वो केस फाइल कर सकते हैं, PIL फाइल कर सकते हैं, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. और अगर इनको एक एप्लीकेशन लिखी जाए कि सर इस तरह से मेरा, इधर यू कैन गो टू हाई कोर्ट, सुप्रीम कोर्ट, या आप इनको भी एप्लीकेशन लिख सकते हो. ठीक है. कि तो दो तरीके से दे वर्क. द वन दे देमसेल्व्स कैन टेक द इनिशिएटिव, द सेकंड इज इफ समवन राइट्स देम कि मेरा इस तरह से राइट वायलेट हुआ. ऑल्सो देयर इज अनदर, इसी के अंदर यू कैन से देयर इज अ नेशनल कमीशन फॉर वुमेन, there is National Commission for Children, there is National Commission for Socially Backward Classes, other backward classes, socially backward classes. तो इस तरह के भी commissions है हमारे पास, which is given in the NCRT. The next part is DPSPs. DPSPs, Directive Principles of State Policies. DPSPs. These Directive Principles of State Policies are actually the directions. Say there is an infant. छोटे बच्चे को, infant को, you always show a direction. कि you have to go this way, you have to walk this way, you have to crawl this way, you have to speak this way. We give direction to him or her. But on the other hand, we also provide some freedom. थोड़ी सी फ्रीडम भी देते हैं, हम उसको बिल्कुल बाउंड नहीं करते हैं, थोड़ी सी फ्रीडम भी देते हैं उसको थोड़ा बहुत, ठीक है, ताकि वो सिर्फ उसी तरीके से एक रोबोट ना बन जाए, सिर्फ उसी तरीके से चलता चलता, सिर्फ वो उसी डायरेक्शन के हिसाब से फॉलो ना करे. सेम वॉज द कंसर्न ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन मेकर्स, ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन फ्रेमर्स. They wanted, being as the country was infant at that time, the country was infant at that time, so they wanted to issue some directions because the situations were very sensitive at that time. Also they wanted that they did not want these policies to be bound on the country. This is why we have DPSPs, directive principles of state policies, and this is why they are not enforceable. They are not justiciable. मतलब we cannot move to court if these policies are not followed by the government. We cannot move to court. तो सर फिर इसका how can we ensure their fulfillment? Sir, you can, if you feel that government has violated the DP, first of all, it will not be violated. Because if they are violated, it will show the morality of that government. और opposition ऐसा नहीं करने देगी. Opposition की ये benefit, opposition नहीं करेगी. Even if you say कि अगर ऐसा हो गया, so after 5 years you can change the government. आप government change करो. So these are some directions. These are some of the directions. Now, what does it contain? First, it contains the goals and objectives. Goals and objectives which the framers of the Constitution wanted to be achieved by the society, to be adopted by the society, by the society through the policies. Means the government should ensure the policies which should be in the welfare of the people. वो लोगों के वेलफेयर के लिए होनी चाहिए वो पॉलिसी. The second we can say that it ensure standard of living. Means the policies should be in such a way that it should be achieving the goals and objectives of the society. Now, how the goals and objectives of the society can be fulfilled? Only after ensuring the welfare of the people, only after ensuring the rising of standard of the people. तो इस तरह की पॉलिसीज इशू की जाए जिसका रिजल्ट ये हो. ठीक है. Now, second point which is contained in DPSPs. There are 3 types of DPSPs. The second type of DPSP is rights. Rights other than fundamental rights. Now, these rights ensures equal pay to men and women. This right ensures right to work. इस तरह की. However, I will be discussing DPSPs in detail why the whole पूरी story behind the DPSPs. But I am discussing as per NCERT right now. So the other part is rights, means other than fundamental rights, which DPSP ensures. मतलब कि गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसीज ऐसी होनी चाहिए, which ensure the equal pay to men and women. गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसीज ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि सबको काम मिले. The third type is principles. The third type is principles. Now, ये actually the welfare of the society, standard of living, equal pay and equal work, they are mentioned in DPSPs. ये DPSP के आर्टिकल्स बता रहा हूं मैं आपको. पहले मैंने टाइप बताया, 3 टाइप्स है, और उसके थ्रू मैंने उसके एग्जांपल्स बताए. Now principles, what are the principles mentioned in the government should implement? The principles which government should implement, the framers of the constitution said that uniform civil code. Try to ensure uniform civil code. यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड की ट्राई करना, ये इस प्रिंसिपल पे आपको काम करना है. आपको और कौन से प्रिंसिपल पे काम करना है? आपको इस प्रिंसिपल पे काम करना है कि पंचायती राज शुड बी, पंचायती राज शुड बी इंश्योर्ड एट एवरी विलेज. तो इस तरह के आपके प्रिंसिपल्स होने चाहिए. किसके प्रिंसिपल्स? जो आप पॉलिसीज इशू करोगे, पॉलिसीज इशू. So these are what the DPSP says. In conclusion, DPSPs are directions to the state policies. So next is the relationship between fundamental rights and DPSPs. This is important from concept point of view. What is the relation between DPSPs and fundamental rights? Fundamental rights actually restrained the government. कि no discrimination, abolition of untouchability, no one shall violate the right to life. No, सब क्या आगे no लिखा हुआ है. No. It restrains the government. It limits the power of the government. On the other hand, DPSP exhorts the government कि आपको ये करना है. फंडामेंटल राइट सेज कि ये नहीं करना है, क्योंकि ये राइट्स है लोगों के. आपको ये करना है. डीपीएसपी सेज आपको ये करना है, ये इस प्रिंसिपल पे काम करना है, इस गोल पे काम करना है, इस ऑब्जेक्टिव पे काम करना है. दैट इज डीपीएसपी. द सेकेंड रिलेशन इज दैट इट इज फॉर द protection of the rights, and DPSP is for welfare. This is for protection of people, this is for welfare of people. This is what the NCERT mentions, the relationship between fundamental rights and DPSPs. This is the relationship. Now there is a case also mentioned in अपना उसमें NCERT में कि there was a conflict between fundamental rights and DPSPs. What was the conflict? The conflict was that we had a zamindari system. Fundamental right versus DPSP. There was a zamindari system. Zamindari system में usually the zamindar used to exploit the laborers, the farmers. Now DPSP says welfare of the people. So the government wanted that zamindari system to be abolished. DPSPs, as per DPSPs, the government wanted abolishment of zamindari system. But this zamindari system was ensured by a fundamental right. The right was right to property. Right to property says that you can acquire and maintain your property. You can acquire and you can maintain that property. Ultimately 1973 कहानी चलती रही and in 1973 आके it was decided now judiciary and executive wanted कि sir obviously fundamental rights are more powerful than DPSPs. So to ensure DPSP you cannot amend the fundamental rights because the power is of fundamental rights is more. So आप welfare of people के लिए आप DPSP के लिए fundamental right को थोड़ी change कर सकते हो. But on the other hand legislature wanted कि सर वी वांट वेलफेयर ऑफ द पीपल, वी वांट वेलफेयर ऑफ द पीपल, तो राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी नहीं हम इंश्योर कर सकते, हमारा और भी तो काम है, वेलफेयर भी तो करना है. So this was the dispute actually. But in 1973, the Keshwananda Bharti case, it was mentioned that it is in constitution, it is written that you have right to acquire and maintain the property. It's okay. ठीक है सर, बिल्कुल ठीक है, आप एक्वायर कर सकते हो, जमींदार कैन एक्वायर एंड मेंटेन द प्रॉपर्टी, नो वरीज. But it is also written in the constitution that if government wants, then government can acquire the property for the welfare of the people. Constitution में ये भी लिखा है कि the government can acquire the property for the welfare of the people. ठीक है, तो welfare of the people के लिए the right to property was amended by 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. And it was, this right to property was changed into a legal right under Article 300A. So this is what the dispute between the fundamental right and DPSP is mentioned in the NCRT. So this was my humble part to explain you the rights in the Constitution as per the NCRT perspective. We will be discussing, I want it to be discussed in detail in some other video. We will discuss it, sure. Anyways, thank you.